Blessed greetings to you. It's a Tuesday evening, and we thank you for welcoming us into your homes. It's a Tuesday night, and we are tapping into your mental space for your healing. My guest this evening is brave enough to tackle the subject of single motherhood. Statistics show us that many children in South Africa grow up without the presence of a father. It is alarming, yet the effects thereof become quite evident when we interact with those children. While the focus and a lot has been said on the impact of this on the child, little consideration or dialogue is permitted on the challenges that single mothers face. My guest this evening knows all too well this journey. Zanele,
Hi.
welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
She's a pastor in calling, a professional nurse, and a single mother to 3 precious little ones. Your journey. You had your firstborn son at the age of 21.
Yes.
Fresh out of medical school, ready to tackle motherhood. Were you prepared, or were you still caught up with bundle of joy?
In honest speaking, I can't say I was ready for that because I was in my 3rd year when I gave birth to my firstborn son. And mind you, when the baby was born, he was crippled. He had bilateral clubbed foot. And I was just doing my 3rd year, and my course takes about 4 years. So when I had my firstborn son, I can't say I was ready. I was still young. I still had a brighter future. I still had a dream of having a firstborn baby after marriage. Mind you, I am a PK, what they call PK, preacher's kid. So to me, it overwhelmed me a lot. I can't say I was prepared for it. Even my parents knew when I was 6 months pregnant that I'm actually expecting. So I was not ready at all.
What we see on social media, which is a great concern, we see the glamorized side of motherhood. Very glamorous baby showers in anticipation of a baby. Very glamorous maternity looks, pregnancy looks. And it creates the picture that, this is such a beautiful journey that is coming.
Yeah.
And indeed, it is a beautiful journey because a child is a blessing from God.
It's true.
But are we somewhat unrealistic about what it takes to mother someone?
I think it's just unrealistic, in honest speaking. I think it's just a front that we are trying to display to people that I am happy, I have accepted, But in honest speaking, behind closed doors, it's really depressing, especially if you are a single mother. You go through depression. You also don't have, especially if you are unemployed, like there's no enough funds. Each and every month you have to call the father as if like you're begging for him to cooperate or cooperate with you. So I think most of the times young people just put a front, for peer pressure, just to show people that, I'm happy, I've got this. Whereas behind closed doors, it's something else. Like one can never be ready to be a single mother. No one can say, I just want to be a single mother. That's unrealistic. Yeah.
You have a relationship, you fall pregnant, and it changes your life. Let's start with what is your thinking of what is going to happen. Firstly, you don't believe that you're going to be a single mother because it takes 2 to tango.
Yes.
Right? What goes on in your mind at that point?
I'll tackle that one, considering my second born, my daughter. I was in a relationship, I cannot mention names, but the man I'm talking about was a preacher, though he was not a pastor. So we had already planned that we are going to like have a traditional wedding, whatsoever. Then, 4 months pregnant, the guy just decided, oh, this is too much. He just told me that I don't have enough funds. So it seems as if you are pressurizing me. So mind you, we are both Christians. And to have a baby out of wedlock is another scandal.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
Within the Christian world.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we are both preachers.
Yes.
So the guy decided that, no man, if you want us to be together, then come and stay with me. Let's have cohabiting. They call it cohabitating.
Fat and set.
Fat and set. That was out of question for me. It was like I'm denying my faith. It's like I have to turn back against what I believe in. So I just told him that that's going to be impossible. So he said, then if that's impossible, then we just have to call this off. Mind you, I'm 4 months pregnant with my second born. It's a shame. Throughout the pregnancy, I never told anyone that I was pregnant. Not even my father knew that I was pregnant until the day I was giving birth. So for the whole of 9 months, I had to deal with the depression. I had to deal with the fact that I'm going to be a single mother for the second time. Whereas after my firstborn son, I told myself that no, my second born going forward, I'm going to have my children inside marriage. So now this man is telling me that he cannot raise enough funds. So if I want us to work, I must cohabitate with him, of which it was out of question. So now I had to deal with this pregnancy, the second pregnancy, on my own again. And it's another shame. At the same time, it's a disappointment to my family and my father. So for the whole of 9 months, I had to keep it a secret. I had to wear like oversized clothing. I had to pretend as if nothing is happening. Until on the last day, when my father heard that, your daughter is crying. Then he came and asked, what's happening? Then they told him she's giving birth. He was so shocked. I'm like, I could even see the disappointment on his face. The ambulance came, took me to the hospital. My high blood pressure was too high because I was very, very, very depressed. It was on a Sunday and he has to go to church to preach. Then on his mind, I could see that he's thinking that all the church members knew that she was pregnant except me. And mind you, I am his, I can say, right hand. I organize everything at church. I'm active. I'm already preaching, and now you are pregnant for the second time. So you can understand it's a shame. I was never even prepared for that as well.
Now, when you speak of the collapse of the relationship, the conversation centers around the two of you, continuing as lovers.
Yes.
And when that doesn't work out, we no longer speak about us as parents to a child. What is your understanding with all of this? Are you not somewhat getting confused? Yes, we cannot work out, but Ndoda, there's your child on the way.
Exactly. So that's when I saw that there's a problem. After the baby was born, I contacted him and told him, you have a baby girl, and then how do we work on going forth? His response was, Mus, you are not serious about us. No, I cannot fund this baby girl until when you become serious about moving in with me. That was it from him.
Was he involved, supportive
No.
in any way financially, even during the pregnancy?
No. During the pregnancy, yes, it was just twice that he bought a maternity outfit, but he never bought anything for the baby. So after the baby was born, he just told me that, I cannot do it unless you bring the baby here. I said, okay, if you want me to bring the baby, it's okay. I can take the baby to the creche. When after work, you'll go and fetch the baby and see the baby. I was like, no, I have to meet you. We have to talk. But now it's no longer about us. A baby is involved. According to me, he was supposed to be thinking about the baby. So that led me to take the responsibility upon myself, because in honestly speaking, the baby always remains with the mother. So you can't say because the father does not want to support, I also won't support the baby. You're always with the baby. So I took it upon myself that, okay, you know what, I'll just take care of the baby going forth. Until when the baby was about to turn 1 year, 6 months, I said, no, let me go to maintenance court. Let me just go to maintenance court, because it takes two to tango. So he has to take responsibility upon the baby. But still, even maintenance court won't make him support the baby 50% or 60%. Still, it's not enough.
You know, I'm interested in the challenges that single mothers face. A child has emotional needs.
Exactly.
A child needs presence. And you as well need support in raising a child. How do you really, as a single mother, from your experience, cope?
I have a strong support system, especially from my father. He has been so supportive, and when I was pregnant, by the time I was depressed, I always asked God, I always prayed to God that who's going to help me with this baby. So until this one time, I had a dream of another lady. She owns a creche. When I gave birth to my daughter, I wanted to drop in my daughter for some event somewhere. So I decided to go to that very creche I saw in a dream. So that lady was very supportive. She was like a mother to me. Even when the baby did not have any milk, she would buy it for her. So I think having a strong support system helps, because financially the father cannot be there. 100%. And even emotionally. So for me, my father was like a father figure to my daughter, because a child is not like a pig. You don't just feed the child and leave the child like that as long as the child has eaten. You know, a child needs emotional presence. You have to be there. Yes, availability. Yeah. They need to feel loved. So my strong support system was my father and the lady I'm talking about. So they were there where I couldn't be there, because sometimes you are depressed, you have 2 kids now. That other one needs attention. This other one also needs attention. You also have deprived yourself from self-care, I can say self-care routines or self-care necessities, because you're taking that money, it's going directly to the baby. So I was depressed until my father and this lady came in and helped a lot. And also having a hobby, like having something that keeps you busy. For me, I can say singing and also going to church, reading the Bible, it stabilizes you a lot. So for one to be, to cope as a single parent, you need a strong support system. You just need a strong support system.
You mention quite often depression. I got so depressed. I got so depressed. Am I right in saying that this was induced by what was just happening around you? Did you have depression before all of this saga started with the unplanned pregnancy and the resulting shame, so to speak, of where you are now in terms of life?
No, I never experienced depression until my second pregnancy.
I can tell it's a very emotional thing to go back to. did you spot the change? You know, this is a journey that I'm very much familiar with. I fell pregnant at the age of 16. And one of the things that I speak about in my book, The Mending of a Broken Vessel, is how that caused a shift within me. You know, it brought about so much shame. You know, the consideration of my parents, who they were. They thought that I fell pregnant in school where my father was a principal. There was myself, my personal mental health, my personal well-being. Yet I found myself prioritizing how everyone else was gonna see me, how everyone else was feeling.
Yes, yes.
And I didn't see myself drown in that situation.
Yeah.
Would you say that it becomes more important for you what people think?
Yes, yes, yes. That's actually, I can say, the main thing that drowns us into depression. How people look at you, how people are now perceiving your life. Like, I can say before I got pregnant, I was a very jolly person, always happy, until I fell pregnant for the second time. It's like my life just came to a standstill. I felt like I went back, way too back. Because at that time, we were having, like, in our village, we were having, like, fraternal, different churches combining. So I was sort of like a leader. Now you start to think, what are people saying? What are people saying about my father, about me? So whenever you pass, people just look at you, you think they're talking about you. Yes. When you are in church, people are looking at you, you think they're also talking about you. So that thing is the very same thing that drowns you into depression. Whenever you are alone, like, many thoughts run through your head. Like, you start to question yourself, why did I do this? Why didn't I listen? What are people saying about me? Such things. The fact that you're from a family that's a public figure, that is a public figure to a role model to a lot of people, that's the very same thing that will drown you into depression. The fact that people are looking at you and now you've disappointed many people, that's the very same thing that will drown you into depression. So I was so depressed, I didn't want to see anyone. I could be in my room for the whole day, only go out to go to the kitchen only. I never went outside the gate.
Now, outside of the fact that there is the shame, there's also society's, you know, whispers in our lives. You know, society has a way of looking at single mothers like maybe they have a deformity of some sort.
Yeah, there's a lot, like, the society contributes a lot, because society looks at single mothers as if they are people who date a lot, like they're all over the place, or this person is not marriage material, why is she parenting a child alone? That's how society perceives single mothers. Like, each time you arrive at a place, they ask you, how many kids do you have? Then you tell them, this one is running too much. That's how. That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means she runs too much. She's all over the place. That's how society views single mothers, of which that's not the case. In most cases, that's not the exact truth.
The day to day, you know, in your case now, you are a mother of 3. You had your third child. The expectations, were they different? The circumstances, were they different this time?
Yes, they were different, because I had met a guy in February, and then in April already had paid, I can say, half lobola. So we were already expecting. Yes, we were expecting a baby when we entered into marriage. I think 2 weeks. So, according to me, I thought it was going to be different because now I am married. Understand? I thought, okay, this is a permanent place. Now I have a child inside marriage. Now this is going to be a very nice ride. Understand? So, only it went south. I thought it was going north. Can't you know it's going south? So you end up being a single parent again, for the third time. So this time, honestly speaking, I was not that depressed. I was not that depressed because I decided to leave because it was getting too much for me. So I thought, no, the best way for me here is to leave. Is to just leave this marriage because I am not getting any support, even though I am married. It's very painful to be married but still be lonely. To be married and still don't get the support, your partner. So it's just the same as being single.
So you come to a situation where you are now forced to confront what is your reality.
Yes.
Do I live this or do I prioritize my mental health? Do
Exactly.
I prioritize my well-being?
Yes, exactly. That was it. I just arrived at a point whereby I was just between a whole and hard place. I decided that my mental health means a lot.
In terms of over committing yourself as a mother, I've experienced mothers who don't have a life. The whole life revolves around my children. For, to the extent that as a single mother, you have no interests yourself anymore. Is there a balance in motherhood where you can say, yes, I am a single parent. I have to raise my children.
Yes.
But there's also me. I'm a person.
Yes.
I also need to care for me.
Yeah, that one is it's very true. I've also realized that about me this very year. I was always focused on the kids. Like I never had a life, to a point whereby when you want to get married, you're getting married for the sake of the kids. Everything you do for the kids. Every cent you have, milk, whatever for the kids. You are depriving yourself of good things. You neglect yourself. I can say most women after having children or after having kids, they neglect themselves.
Exactly.
Yes. That's the very, very same thing I was doing until this year. I decided, no, I think I'm going overboard. I think I'm neglecting myself. I think I'm neglecting my talents, my gifts. I focused everything on the kids. So there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a very good balance on that one. It's not healthy.
And people, I always say this, a depressed mother is a 80% unpresent mother to the child.
Yes.
An unfulfilled mother, an unhealed mother is an unpresent and unemotionally, an emotionally unavailable mother.
Yes.
So how do we strike a balance?
So I think the first step is just doing that. Finding something that you can do, something good about you. Focusing on that very same thing to balance yourself. Mental health is very important. When you're mentally ill, your whole body is ill. You cannot do anything. You're just disabled. You can be 100% able to walk or able to do whatever. But as long as your mental health is disabled, you cannot do anything. You cannot even think straight. You cannot even go out for fresh air. Many people will say, now you can be around and no one knows that you're around. You never even go to just for fresh air.
Yeah.
That's how I was. Until I decided, no, I think I am causing this depression upon myself. I think I'm focusing too much on the kids to understand that I forget to live myself. Yes, that's how I took a step.
Appreciating something good about yourself.
Yes, yes,
Looking in the mirror and saying, hang on, regardless of what people may say about me,
yes.
there is an element of good in
Amen.
me.
Amen. Amen.
Most single mothers forsake themselves and neglect their well-being. As the saying goes, a cup that runneth empty is a cup that can never overflow. When you neglect yourself, it has a ripple effect on your children. Many people say, I'm doing it all for the kids. What happens when the kids are all grown up? Who are you? Where are you? What about your dreams? What about your desires? What about your passions? And above all, what about God's purpose for your life? This has been Healing Conversations. Join me again next week. I'm speaking to Zanele Mmola, and I'm interested in pursuing her journey of healing in her parenting. You'll have to come back next week, Tuesday, on Healing Conversations, right here on TBN for that edition. God bless you and your families.
Get yourself a copy of our latest books, The Mending of a Broken Vessel and Maintaining Your Joy, a journal for daily positive living. Visit a bookstore near you.